My fellow Nigerians. It's me Diko Trumano of the Republican Party of Nigeria and Team Monga leader again. This is my second address on my strategies on making Nigeria great again should you give I and the Republican Party the chance to lead you come 2027. And I am dwelling on a major problem that is affecting the whole Nigerian polity. This problem that has killed the notion of opposition in our democracy is the crisis of party defections in Nigerian politics. Or as I like to call it, the decamping syndrome. Nigerian politics is plagued by a disturbing trend, the frequent decamping of politicians from one party to another, often driven by personal ambition rather than ideological conviction. This lack of party loyalty undermines democratic stability, weakens political institutions, and erodes public trust in governance. This has become a cultural trend. Politicians in Nigeria switch parties with alarming ease, often for the following reasons. The first is access to power and patronage. Many opposition politicians defect to the ruling party in droves to secure appointments and contracts. Some even join the ruling party for protection from prosecution. The second is for electoral survival. Politicians abandon their parties the moment they sense electoral defeat in their party primaries, seeking refuge in other convenient platforms to pursue their ambitions. Or when they sense that their parties are not strong enough to win the elections, they quickly defect to stronger platforms. Third, lack of party discipline. Weak internal structures allow defectors to escape consequences, making party membership meaningless. That's why when you go through an average Nigerian politician's party history, you will see the banners of different political parties all along the timeline. And the fourth is the absence of ideological foundations. Most Nigerian parties lack clear doctrines, reducing politics to a game of power rather than policy. That's why if you go through the manifestos of the various parties, you will see that they are so identical as if they were written and printed by the same person before being distributed. All these above cause serious adverse effects on Nigerian democracy such as lack of party supremacy. When politicians switch parties at will, parties cannot enforce discipline or maintain a coherent agenda. After all, their members can just switch from one party to another the way some Nigerian football supporters change clubs. Another effect is instability in governance. Frequent defections disrupt legislative processes, as lawmakers shift alliances based on personal gain rather than national interest. You can have the ruling party having a 49% of the floor today and it can grow to over 70% as the opposition decamp to them as time goes by, only to have the ruling majority's percentage drop during election year as those that did not get their party's ticket for re-election decamp to other platforms. Yet another effect is erosion of voter trust. Citizens lose faith in political parties when politicians treat them as mere vehicles for power rather than platforms for representation. Nigerians now attend campaigns only to see if there will be a cash giveaway or another kind of bonanza. A fourth effect is weak opposition. The opposition is constantly weakened as key members defect to the ruling party, creating an uneven political playing field. And the fifth effect is policy inconsistency. Without stable party ideologies, governance becomes erratic, with no long-term development vision. In organized countries, you know what each party clearly stands for. In the US, for example, the Republican and Democratic parties have their clear opposing ideas on different issues, but it's not the case over here. The only doctrine we have is, be in the ruling party. Nigerian politicians seem to follow one unwritten rule, align with power at all costs. If they cannot control the ruling party, they join it. If they are sidelined, they move to the opposition, not out of principle, but to position themselves for future power grabs. This mercenary approach turns politics into a transactional business rather than a service to the people. My strategies for reforming these issues are: 1. I will make sure there are legal consequences for defectors by pushing for a full amendment of the Electoral Act to mandate that should a lawmaker defect during his tenure without any valid ideological reason, either the party that sponsored him as a candidate can automatically recall and replace him, or his seat should be declared vacant and by-elections held as soon as possible. The second is by strengthening party ideologies. I will push a legislation that ensures that all political parties in Nigeria must not only develop clear manifestos, but must also have a total graphic roadmap on their strategies, and if they are found guilty of working contrary to their declared roadmaps, they can be penalized and deregistered for electoral fraud, because they lied to the electorate. Thirdly, I will ensure there is public awareness and accountability by working with civil society, influencers and the media to frequently call out serial defectors, exposing their lack of principles. And the final part of my reform is independent party regulations. If the need arises, I will create a National Political Parties Commission to enforce the rules on defections and party conduct that I have mentioned above. In conclusion, until we can push Nigerian politicians to prioritize party loyalty, ideological consistency, and national interest over personal gain, the country's democracy will remain unstable and unproductive. The current system rewards opportunism over service, a trend that must be reversed for Nigeria to achieve true democratic progress. My fellow Nigerians, if we succeed in this, we can start having real opposition again and making Nigeria great again. I cannot become president and have no one to question my policies. After all, a leader surrounded by only sycophants and yes-men is always bound to fail. The third part of my strategies was supposed to be centered on the National Assembly, but that will come at a later date because I will be focusing on the very important need to change our orientation towards unity and oneness in my next address. Thank you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.